Hello folks, Gareth Core asked me if I would do a wee video on the fly I'm about to tie. Now a fella asked for, on a Facebook group, asked for inspiration for shipmans buzzers and I posted this wee fly and Gareth Core had a go at tying it. Now there's a couple of wee elements that I missed out. There's a hackle and a peacock here at the head, but the rest there they had 100%, you know what I mean. So I says to him that the hackle and the hair was missing, but he asked me if I would do the wee video, so this is it here. So the hook and the vise is a Hens BL300 size 14. Now the reason why I'm using the Hens is because it's a finer wire hook and this is basically a dry fly. So the lighter the wire the hook, the easier this will be to float. The thread I'm using is Semperfly Nano Silk 50 tenor in black. So we'll just get kicked off here behind the hook, run on a few turns, run them with our scissors and knock off our excess, run our thread down towards the rear of the hook. Now the back end of the fly, this is just floating poly yarn. Now that as it stands is too thick, so what you have to do is split that down. You only need half of that. I'm just trying to straighten up the bits with tour. So where your thread sits now, doesn't matter what length you put out over the end because we're going to turn that off anyway. You don't want to leave too much because you don't want to be wasting a lot. So leave yourself half an inch out over the back. Come on, punch a loop over the top to get you started. Give it a full turn. Get your poly yarn lined up over the top of the hook. And come on then and tie that down tighter. Now try and keep this poly yarn on top because what that does as well is it gives you that floating as well. Now that's far enough because we have a load of elements at the front and you don't want it sitting too bulky at the front end, so just come up to about halfway and knock off that excess. Now tie that end down. There's a rub on the fly and I have a strand sitting here. Now what this is a strand of it's pearl flash for overwings and tails, and what I have done is taken one strand from that, and that's thick enough and heavy enough to rub this fly. So come on and tie that if I get it. Come on and tie that on and run our thread towards the rear of the hook. So we want to tidy up this back end now from where we want our dubbing to start. You want your dubbing to start just before the bend of the hook, where the bend starts to come on the hook. Now the dubbing on the fly, this is just, it's Antron dubbing, and there's a few wee flecks of pearl flash and a few wee bits of blue on it as well. So we only need the slightest wee pinch of this because we're only dubbing half the body. So turn the hook point towards you, pull your thread down, and I showed you this the last day, the slightest wee up, dub it on and pull it up towards us. Same again, a wee nip and pull it up towards the last bit. And then we might need one wee small nip, and that's our dubbing noodle. Now that's only about 1.5 inches or 2 inches long. So come on then. Now keep this dubbing nice and fine. You don't want this dub too heavy, because what happens then is your dubbing gets far too wet and pulls your fly underneath. So give a turn, tighten your dubbing, and then start bringing that forward. Because this is Antron, it'll stay pretty neat. It's not like hare's ear or seal's fur where you're having to twist every turn you put on. Now, our tinsel, bring that round, same direction as your dubbing, and you want to give 3 turns on the way up this. Come on then and tie that off. Now that we're here, we'll trim off that excess at the tail. So that's our tinsel tied off. Come on and knock that away. And as I say, now that we're here, we'll knock off that tail. So that's your floating for the end of the fly. Now, there's a few elements towards the front end. There's a overwing of CDC, and all you need is 2 plumes of CDC is sufficient. I'll pick out 2 fillers. There's 2 of these here. Now when you're tying on your CDC, what you want to do is you want to measure your length going forward. So you'll have your thorax plus this length here over the front. So you want to keep about the same length as your tail over the front. So that's our tying in point here. Right? Switch that round on your hand and point it towards the rear of the hook at that tying in point where we found our length. Come on then, secure that down and knock off the excess. Now, run our thread, tie that up a bit, and run our thread back down to where we started tying on our CDC. Now, there's a couple of parts that's left to do on this. There's a hackle where there's only 2 turns of a hackle, and then there's a bit of peacock hair then at the very front end. Peacock hair, and then fold the CDC over. So the hackle and the fly, this is a dry fly hackle. Now you can buy capes, cock capes, but the hackles, for me, just they don't cut the mustard when it's something this size here. But you can buy, now that's off a whiting cape, you can buy them fillers and packs of, I think they come with 10. The fillers are about 1.5 or 2 foot long, and all you need is the slightest wee turn, and it's a good investment if you're interested in tying dry flies. So I already have this struck back. I've exposed the stock on it. So come on and secured that stock. Excuse me, folks. Come on then, and with your hackle, just give, the first one didn't go down. the way I want it. Just come in and give, all we need is 2 turns of this hackle. It's just to give a wee bit, as I says already, a wee bit of texture to the front end of the fly. So come in and tie off that hackle. Come on and turn that away. Pull all your fibres towards the rear of the hook and give 2 or 3 turns in front of that. So we have a flat base to put our peacock here on. So that's hit haggled here. So the next element now is this is just a piece of peacock here. Now I have taken this off a peacock eye. I prefer taking these because the hair tends to be a bit stronger than the hair you'll buy in a pack. Now come on and knock away that white top. Tie on your peacock hair strand. Run our thread towards the eye. Just now. So that's our 3 turns. Come on and secure off that hair. So come on and turn that away. Now, our hackle, what you want to do is you want to grab a hackle and start pulling it down so that you leave a clear area for our CDC to pull into. So you just want to get it out of our CDC. Get all the fibres and not just some of them, and pull them over the top of the hackle. Now when you're pulling the CDC forward, when you get it forward, take your time then and pull all them hackle fibres in the direction that you want them to go. You don't want them coming over the top a long way. The CDC, you want them to go down and lie down the side. So that looks alright for me there. So we come on then and 2 or 3 turns over the top to secure down that CDC. So a wee half hitch on there, just to hold our CDC in place. I'll allow us the time then to go back in and tidy up the bits that we have already done. Now you'll not get all your CDC. They pull over. If you do, you're a better man at it than me. So just go back and then excess CDC fibres, pull them away. All you have to do is grab them and give them a wee pull and all up. Now our hackle, take your time, and any hackle fibres that's stuck, come on, pull them out and pull them into shape as well. So that's basically our fly tied. What we need to do now is that's a wee bit of hackle there. What we need to do now is tie off her head. So if you pull her If you pull our CDC back towards the eye, you'll get in behind the CDC and get tying off the head of the fly. So you want overhang back. Come on then in. 2 or 3 turn, won't finish. Pull our thread tight. Come on in. Knock away our excess. So what I do, right, the head of my CDC, you want the 2 of these round about the same length. So we have a 1/4 inch over there, just come on with your scissors and knock off. Do you get a 1/4 inch front and back? So that's basically your fly there, folks. That's the wee fly that, as this is, Gareth Core had seen, that I posted somewhere else. Now, I don't think you can see it very clearly against the background that I have here, but that's essentially the tying of it. There's not very much on it. Now, the one bit that can get a wee bit footery is when you come on the head of the fly. After you put on the hackle, it can get a wee bit footery trying to run on a couple of turns of hair. But the couple of turns of hair make the difference at the front end. Now when hair is wet, it goes like a greeny, bluey colour, and it lifts that front end. So you have how I would fish that is 10-foot leader, tistic ink on the poly yarn. Now the slightest wee nip, no need to plaster it, slightest wee nip. And what I do before I start fishing, I have a bottle of its CDC oil, and I use CDC oil and CDC rather than gink or any other floating. Now I'll give the CDC, that tip there, a wee coating of the CDC oil and allow it to dry. And as I say, a wee pinch of gink on your tail as well, and that'll float forever. Not only have you get the CDC over the back, but you have your floating poly yarn at the back as well, and that all helps to keep the fly floating. Now, you don't want to tie that on a heavy hook, preferably a light wire hook, and the reason being is it's easier kept afloat if you use a lighter hook. So there you go, folks. For Gareth Core, that's a tie-in there, buddy. I hope it helps you. And the bits that you left out from the last fly you posted. The last fly you posted was a very good fly, you know what I mean. It had basically everything bar the hackle and the hair. But for me, the hackle and the hair lifts it to a completely different fly than a shipmans, you know what I mean. So there you go. I hope that helped. Until the next time, folks, thanks for watching.